What if I told you that you're actually addicted to staying stuck with herpes? That the shame that you hold on to, that you desperately want to get rid of, to no longer be controlled by, is the one thing that you actively try to protect and hold on to every day. Now, before you get defensive and before you start saying, no, that's not the case, you don't know what it's like, I do know what it's like. I've been there too. And I got out of that place. And this thought occurred to me last night as I was taking a bath. I was scrolling on YouTube Shorts and I saw some video about when the pain of someone's situation is bad enough, then they'll change. And it kind of got me thinking about a whole herpes diagnosis and how it would seem from the outside that a herpes diagnosis, the shame, the fear of rejection, all of these things is such a painful situation to put ourselves into that I started thinking, well, why is everyone still stuck? You know, if the pain was great enough, wouldn't they try to shift their way out of it? Now, I'm not special. If you don't know who I am, I was diagnosed in September 2020. I've had herpes for 5 years. I was able to rid the shame, get better at disclosure, improve my confidence, get back to dating, and no longer let my diagnosis control me. And I've gone on to coach over 100 clients to also do the same thing. Get rid of shame, get their confidence back, get into relationships, and not let their diagnosis keep them stuck anymore. If you are looking for some extra help, there's a 3-step process video that my coaching clients go through. There's a link in the description box. Give it a watch when you have some time. Now, what was curious to me was I went on ChatGPT and I typed in, well, if someone's going through a herpes diagnosis and they're sad and they're afraid and they're ashamed and these are painful thoughts on a daily basis, why don't they just change their perspective or change their mindset? Or if they're afraid of being alone forever, why don't they go and date? And what it came out with as an answer was that shame is a security blanket. Shame is something, fear of rejection is something. These are all things that actively are going to keep us stuck. We are addicted to the familiarity of feeling ashamed, of being a part of a larger group of individuals. Now, I don't believe that everybody has to stay a victim. And I also don't believe that the herpes stigma is ever going away. But I do believe that if you're watching this video and you are having a hard time figuring out mentally why it is that you're still stuck, I think it comes down to the fact that there's a comfort in feeling stuck. And the reason I say this is because if you are deeply afraid of rejection, the best way to keep you from facing rejection is to never date. So there's a part of your brain that's like, I want to date, I want to disclose, I want to find a loving, accepting partner, but I'm so afraid of what could happen if I put myself out there. And the rest of your brain is like, well, okay, well, let's reinforce shame. Let's reinforce inaction. Let's reinforce being afraid so we don't have to ever face that. And it's like counterintuitive in the sense that your dream outcome can never be achieved because we're addicted to shame, to being stuck, to rejection. And I started thinking too about all the support groups. Now, support groups are great. It's good to go in there and get some advice if, you know, you're not looking for an in-depth coaching program, or you're not looking for, you know, a huge therapy session. Maybe you just want to see other people's experiences. And it's helpful to have a wide variety of experiences where people live, or, you know, ethnicity-wise, or dating-wise, or gender-wise. You know, what are other people doing when it comes to their diagnosis? But a lot of us get stuck in a support group long-term, and it just sort of becomes our identity. You know, oh, other people are ashamed, so I should be ashamed. And other people are struggling too, so I feel part of this. And there's a level of, I wouldn't say fear, but like anxiety that comes along with like breaking free from the herd. It's like a lot of people could be ashamed of their diagnosis, even if they all have the power within themselves. You right now, you have the power to break free, to get your life back on track, to go out and date confidently. But the shame and the comfortability of that keeps us stuck. And if it never really occurred to you as a thought, I want you to use this video sort of as a catalyst to think maybe, wait, that does sort of make sense. I am addicted to feeling ashamed, even if I hate feeling ashamed. Now, there's another video on my page about cavemen and how back in the day, the pain of rejection would motivate you to not be alone, to go find a partner, to try again. But nowadays, you can survive on your own. You don't necessarily need to band together with a romantic partner or a group of people. You know, you can Uber Eats your food, and there's a house that isn't probably going to get collapsed by weather, and some other tribe is hopefully not going to come and like beat you up or something. But it's those emotions themselves that are actually keeping us stuck. It's those fears that we have, the I don't want to be alone forever, but I'm afraid to put myself out there. It's like conflicting, but in our heads, it's so hard to acknowledge that they're the root cause of each other. So how to actually break free from this is to first identify that, yeah, maybe I am reinforcing habits, actions, thoughts, and beliefs that are keeping me stuck. Maybe I actually am addicted to the comfort that comes along with feeling a part of the group. Because I'll be honest right now, there's some part of me here, the herpes coach, the guy who genuinely doesn't have negative thoughts about his diagnosis, who doesn't struggle with being open about it. There's some part of me that feels a bit delusional. Like, wait, am I crazy? Should I be ashamed? Should I genuinely be concerned about rejection or never finding a partner or all of these things? And what's occurred to me too is I have evidence that it doesn't have to be that way. I've been able to date confidently, short-term, long-term, disclose my status with ease, deal with the fact that I could get rejected. There's a YouTube video on I just got rejected for herpes, how to move forward. And that person that rejected me, I have no ill will against them. I haven't thought about them. Life goes on. And I believe more in you watching this video than you believe in yourself right now. But I think the first step is acknowledging that the shame is keeping you stuck, acknowledging that as comfortable as it is, that comfort is why you're stuck. All online, it's you don't grow in your comfort zone. You got to go out of that. And it's very true. And there is a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear around like stepping out of this comfort zone because you have to look at yourself. You have to self-analyze. You have to change your beliefs. It actually is going to take a little bit of effort. And this is also what ChatGPT said. It said, consciously facing things and reshaping your perspective on yourself takes energy. Whether it's like emotional and mental energy or like physiological energy. Actually rewriting your story about your diagnosis and facing the things that are going to come up. Because you might get rejected your first time, or you might not. But I think that fear of being rejected, putting yourself out there, facing someone's opinion of you, actually is much scarier and much more painful in a sense than the, I would say, numb, dull, chronic existence of being ashamed every day. So what you can do, quell your fears about transmission and prevalency and communicating with your future partners by getting educated about herpes. Now, I'm going to walk you through the process of my coaching program because that's what has success for me and my clients. So getting educated, detaching from the herpes stigma, so you no longer see it as this label for you, this defining characteristic. It's simply a viral infection you happen to have gotten, whether it was sexually, whether it was non-sexually. Judgment only comes from the method by which you got the virus. From there, working on shedding those feelings of shame, embracing the uncertainty that comes along with like going from shame to confidence in this like weird gray area where you are shifting your identity, changing your beliefs, and then constantly having shame self and confident self battling against each other. And it's like, well, no, we're going to go back here, but you can't let yourself go back. And when you reinforce the good thoughts, the good behaviors, the good actions, you're slowly going to become the version of yourself that never gets stuck again. Because I don't go back in time. There's not a single day where I regress. And I've gotten rejected. And I've had, people show off their negativity to me, but it doesn't get absorbed by me. From there, framing disclosure in your head as something that should be normal, a mutual conversation, expecting things to go well. A practical exercise is visualizing day in, day out, good reactions, good disclosures, communicative conversations that aren't filled with shame and uncertainty. And when you have that constantly replaying, as opposed to in that addicted to shame phase, constantly replaying disclosures that go badly, poor reactions, rejections, rumors spread around, when you constantly reinforce that in your head because it's the easy option, you expect that, you anticipate that, your brain is wired to look for that. If you rewire your brain through conscious effort and positive visualization every day, you can only expect that, and you actually will increase your confidence. So then you get back into dating. And I guarantee that some of you watching this are going to have success your first disclosure. And if your goal, which is very important to set, if your goal is to find a loving, accepting partner who likes you for you, who sees value in you, if that is your goal, contrary to avoiding rejection, you're never going to get discouraged when it comes to dating. Because if you meet someone and they don't give you a good reaction or they don't like you for you, you aren't missing out. And you're just filtering through people, which you have to do when dating, to find the person you actually want to be. So just sort of a reflective video. Look at whether or not, and I know it's uncomfortable, it is. Look at whether or not you're actually addicted to the feeling of comfort that comes from feeling ashamed and stuck. Look at whether or not the echo chamber that you're surrounded in, the support group, the Reddit forums, I don't even know. Maybe there's some sort of level of comfort that you have from keeping this a secret. Because if no one knows, you can sort of hide in your own bubble. Look at actually whether or not those things are keeping you stuck, and whether day in, day out, you are reinforcing those things. You're addicted to the comfort that comes from keeping yourself stuck. Some of you are going to watch this and be like, damn, he's actually right. The one thing that I constantly reinforce is the one thing that's keeping me stuck. And and you're going to go into the anger phase. You're going to be like, damn, I hate myself. But don't do that. Don't start hating yourself for this. Be compassionate, be caring, be nurturing to yourself, and just analyze and realize like, hey, wait, this is why I am stuck. And then slowly, day in, day out, try to shift and catch yourself when you're feeding into this addiction. Because when you can break this addiction, when you can detox, when you can withdraw from that previous self, you can finally move forward into the version of you that never has to feel stuck again. And you'll find a comfort in your newfound confidence. If you are watching this and you do want some help fast tracking that process, getting educated, getting your confidence back, making disclosure effortless, I'll leave a link down below in the description box to just book a call with me, and I'll see if I can help you. I'll see you guys in the next video.